The anime finally showed a bit of Japan's scheming, but they basically cut everything. The anime showed us that the Japanese hunters are terrible, yes, but did it show all of this was planned and that the real goal of the Japanese was to get rid of the Korean hunters? No. And yes, all of this was planned. The Japanese hunters was always coming after the Korean hunters, and Goto wanting to become a national rank hunter was just an excuse. But don't worry, I've explained this in detail later in this video. For starting, did you guys notice how adorable Beru is as the beginning of the episode? You might not have noticed by just watching, but since I go frame by frame for editing, look at how he turned out chibi and cute. Now imagine this such cute little thing slaughtering everyone at insane speed. That's what I saw. But aside from Ant King's appearance, I liked how they adapted this scene. In the manhwa it happens really fast, but here they expanded a little, while we still keeping it very much in line with the original. It really feels like the webtoon panels are coming to life throughout the animation, which I found super cool and really enjoyed. Moving on to the Korea hunters in the raid, once again I really liked how the scenes are being expanded. Not everything here is absolutely crucial, but I especially appreciate it because it gives more screen time to other characters. One thing I really dislike about Solo Leveling is the absolutely focus on Sung, making it feel like no other character really matters in the entire series. In the manhwa, other characters only get super quick panel appearances, but here seeing them in more screen time while hunting is really cool for me, especially Hae-In, who barely gets any spotlight in the webtoon. Now we actually get to see how she fights, her techniques being animated and all that, which is pretty awesome. And of course interaction between the S-rank hunters, especially Min Byung-gu and Baek Hyun-woo, with the healer completely breaking the usual image of healers. And then we go back to the two Japanese hunters finding the bodies of Kenzo, Shimizu and the glasses. Here the guy with mana sensitive nose goes completely insane before even sensing the Ant King's mana. Just the scent alone was enough for him to realize how dangerous the situation was. And the scene where he unleashes the ice ability, I have to say I really liked it, since ice magic for me is one of the best types of magic of all time. But my one critique in this scene is that they toned down the blood here. Not that it's a huge deal for the anime, since it's already shown plenty of blood so far. However, in this scene in the manhwa, we have more blood when the Ant King literally breaks up the ice and kills him. And soon the Koreans arrive at the Queen's chamber, where they will have to face the remaining ants alongside the royal guards. In the webtoon, this fight against the royal guards was extremely fast, just a few panels and it's over, but here that's not the case, and I have to say that this fight was truly amazing. Just like before, we see scenes that were originally drawn in the webtoon, so it really feels like that the panels are coming out to life throughout the animation, and on top of that they have added a bunch of extra details that only makes things even better. But now I have another critique: they cut out the elderly couple. In the midst of the fight, we have the scenes of many people cheering and watching the broadcast, but here the manhwa gives a special focus to an elderly couple in a really touching scene. The old woman asks her husband if he's going to watch the hunters on TV, and he says no, and she insists a little, saying that this time it looks like they are finally going to capture the ants properly, something they hadn't managed to do before. But he doesn't believe it, saying they are all talk and he doesn't pay attention to them anymore. Then the old woman tells him that these hunters are trying to avenge their first and only son, so they should watch even if it's painful. And this suggests that they might be the parents of Eun-seok, the hunter who was Yeon-woo's friend and died in the raid, or maybe they are the parents of one of the hunters who tried to close the gate earlier and lost their life, so this raid is meaningful for them. She then turns on the TV to watch, seeing the Koreans take down the royal guards, and when only the queen was left, the old man finally walks into the TV room, saying that this is the fourth time they have attempted this gate, and with an emotional face, he says that this time they need to win. So in the manhwa we get this beautiful scene of this elderly couple cheering for Korea's hunter in honor of their son, and like I said, it's not relevant for the anime, so of course the anime would cut it, but it was such a sweet moment that I really wish they had kept it. On the other hand, the broadcasting station is celebrating the gold mine they have in their ranks, especially because Korea is now on the verge of being added to the list of countries that have successfully cleared S-rank gates, a list that currently only includes United States, China, Russia and France. So the honor they will receive once they complete this raid is massive. And then we finally reach the Queen, the fight against the Ant Queen, and that was amazing. In the manhwa they do fight the Queen, but it's a really quick battle, and this is explained later because even though she's an S-rank monster, her main role is to lay eggs and create new ants, so she's not actually a combatant, and this makes her weaker than other monsters. But here, even though she's not that strong, she still shows us why she's an S-rank monster by taking on 6 S-rank hunters head-on without problems. It was especially interesting to see Lim and Ma Dong-wook play their roles. Even though Lim was basically useless, Ma Dong-wook really mattered by tanking the hits for others. And of course Hae-In as the strongest, landing multiple strikes and ultimately soloing the Queen was awesome, giving our stunning huntress the spotlight she deserves. But nothing good lasts forever, and with the Queen's scream, the ants started returning to the nest she just called her colony, and that's when he appears. The monster, the incredible, the Ant King. He arrives and paralyzes everyone just with his overwhelming presence, and when he fully unleashes his aura, it's game over. Everyone is completely in shock, and Ma Dong-wook feeling like he had died if he moved was especially incredible, no matter how many times you see it. And in the webtoon we don't see the Ant King eating the Queen before going berserk, so I'm not sure if that's something from the novel or a completely original addition, but it's very cool. And so after getting enraged, the end begins. First, Hae-In as the strongest was disintegrated with a single strike, and it was brutal. We see her literally turning into a pool of blood. Then came Ma Dong-wook, losing both arms instantly like it was nothing. After that, Baek, then Choi. Everyone got soloed in seconds. Then the king proves that beyond being strong, his senses are on another level. He detects Byung-woo and instantly eliminates him, taking down a S-rank hunter easily and even eating him. And no one had time to react to this, no time to even blink. The guy who had been keeping everyone alive just died, instantly gone. And the only reason the Ant King didn't finish the job was because he sensed Goto and thought he was strong. Of course he was mistaken, because Goto wasn't that strong. But I have to mention the scene where he talks right after eating Byung-woo, mimicking the brain he just devoured. That was priceless. The cruelty, the disdain, the sheer monstrosity. This was incredible. And speaking of Goto, we cut straight to him, and we finally get to see some things revealed. Goto is in contact with the big boss that have the audacity to don't care about the loss of 5 S-rank hunters. Soon they start talking about the Koreans and their survival chances in the nest, which are realistically 0, and we see how the Japanese are actually pleased with that outcome. After all, they had planned this from the beginning, not just to take out the credit, gain power and craft a grand narrative, but also to permanently weaken Korea. And the anime didn't show it to you. In the anime, it just makes them look like scumbags who are willing to abandon Korea and flee, but in the manhwa you can clearly see their true intentions. The real objective of this raid was the complete annihilation of South Korea's S-rank hunters, and all of that about Goto's wanting to become a national rank hunter was just an excuse to cover this. So for the media, Goto failed at becoming a national rank hunter, and because of this, no one will think that the Japanese are actually the mastermind behind the loss of the Korea hunters. And this was heavily censored and cut out, obviously because Japan is the one adapting the anime and they are not going to portray themselves as the absolute worst villains, but still I don't like it. We also get a scene with a Chinese ship captain who is stationed at sea, ready to take down any ant to try to fly away, and here he doesn't trust the Japanese much and doubts about the reason Goto is really helping the Korean hunters. According to him, using the national rank hunt status as an excuse is the perfect cover if anything happens. In other words, even the Chinese noticed that Japan was scheming behind Koreans' back. Not to mention, there were more mentions about Liu Zigang here, and how he is completely insanely powerful. Then we get to Goto versus the Ant King, where this weakling actually dares to call himself a king. When the Ant King unleashes all of his mana, Goto immediately thinks of one person, Sang, and that's because Sang almost killed him in the last episode. But of course the anime cut that too. And then we have the scene where his sword breaks, and this means Goto's death. In the manhwa is literally this. We have the panel with the sword breaking and then his head in the floor. And then the episode ends with Sang saving the Koreans, who were just moments away from becoming memories. And that is it for today, guys. I hope you liked the cut content. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel to support my work and give a like to support the video. Now I'm out.